what episode do we have this week? Oh, it's Blackwater. Cool. I haven't seen a little person get his head caved in with an axe since 2013. And obviously this time it'll be different, getting to watch from a third person perspective instead of actively taking part.
I walk through the shadow of death left to fear. This is a journey through the halls of hell.
Yes people, what is good? I am BA, back once again with another reaction in the Game of Thrones series. And this is just no normal reaction, this is an episode 9 of season 2 reaction. It is called Blackwater, and we all know that things get crazy episode 9 of a Game of Thrones series. Last episode. I don't even want to do a big summary before this episode this week, to be honest, because I'm hyped to get into this episode. But basically, we know everyone is set up now where they need to be. There's the King's Landing people, Stannis is coming across, shit's going down. Oh, and Daenerys' dragons are still in the House of the Undying, and I believe Jon Snow is still north of the wall in the custody of the wildlings. I think that's where we are, but regardless, let's just get into this. This is episode 9, season 2, Blackwater. Let's check it out and see what it's saying to it. The one thing I feel like I missed out on at the time when this was running weekly is I never got to see the progression of it in the public zeitgeist. You know, to me, just one day Game of Thrones was what everyone was talking about, but I never saw the struggle, because I'm assuming season 1, it wasn't, you know, as big as it was by season 6 or season 7, for example, and I wasn't there through that struggle where it must have battled for a bit to gain a little bit of an audience and for word of mouth to make it catch on, to become as big as it eventually did. But much respect to them season 1 diehards, you know, who watched it episodically as it was released, backed it, promoted it on the internet and shit, and, you know, kept it rolling all the way to its conclusion. Neil Marshall, he's quite a big UK director. I swear he's directed full-on, like, dope British movies in the past, if my memory serves me correctly. Such an epic scene. I'm assuming even a shot like that was CGI, but I wonder where the CGI beginning and ended there, because it was done very well. Obviously, it's easier to merge computer effects when it's a nighttime shot, I'm assuming though. It's the most confident I've ever seen Stannis look, to be honest. As I said last episode, it's almost as if he's on some divine mission. He's not even thinking about the possibility of defeat. His god has told him victory is certain. This guy's god didn't tell him shit.
Tide's against us.
Aye, but we have the wind. Should blow us straight to the gate.
It's always nice to have an element on your side, you know. It would be cool to have the wind watching your back. I mean, you would feel quite powerful if the ocean was on your side in a battle, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, Davos isn't taking into consideration that King's Landing have fire on their side. Maybe that's why the Lord of Light didn't warn Stannis about it, because King's Landing were using wildfire, and the Lord of Light was like, well, it's fire, can't really step in when it's flame related, sorry.
Our ships outnumber theirs 10 to 1. Our army outnumbered theirs 5 to 1.
Spoken like a fucking henchman in a Jackie Chan fight scene.
I have faith in the Lord of Light. I have faith in our cause.
I am not knocking religious people here. I probably am, but I'm genuinely not trying to. It's just an observation as an atheist. But you see, when you're a pessimistic atheist like myself, there's a certain faith level when it starts to be visible in someone's face. Their smile in their day-to-day life can be creepy due to their faith, and also the look in their eyes of sheer belief. And it always comes across creepy, and it's the same look you get in every cult and every religion. Genuinely not trying to shit on religion, it's just an observation that your belief systems gives you lot creepy fucking smiles and eyes sometimes, okay?
It's not your war.
It is now.
I wonder when she turned full traitor. Is this all bullshit? She was looking at him like she was genuinely concerned for his well-being and loves him there. Is this just all bullshit, part of her game, how she plays the game? I actually don't know what's worse, to assume that this was all bullshit and she was always just a fraudulent piece of shit, or that this genuinely meant something to her and she betrayed him anyway. I do not know which is the worst of those two. Both of them are fucking scumbag shit, really, aren't they?
Counsel in times of war.
Your words are always wise and measured.
Measured is certainly correct. Now go away and do 10 squats before you finish your sentence, you lying old fuck.
Essence of nightshade is as dangerous as it is efficacious.
Now this storyline I don't think any less of Sushi for. In a situation where your castle might possibly be sieged and there are innocent women and children inside and the enemy army will just take the women, kill the children, you know, do horrible things to the women, not mad at them for having a plan B to not have that happen to them.
A siege is very...
Be careful on the stairs, Grandmeister. There are so many.
I bet he jogged up those stairs like a Rocky training montage. Not gonna lie, I think a bit less of Bronn for this scene. He comes from Flea Bottom, he's a working class cutthroat who grinded his way up. Don't sing songs with these posh Lannister guards, bro.
You've got a pretty voice.
Thank you very much.
Now, for those of you who don't know, that is funny because the guy who plays Bronn in this was actually part of a British pop ballad covering duo called Robson and Jerome from the 90s, and they famously covered Unchained Melody, and it was #1 in the UK for like fucking 15 weeks of my childhood. Yes, this really happened, and that is why she told him he had a nice singing voice there. I feel like the director of this episode wasn't mentioned in the Golden Globe nods enough. I feel like his artistic, cinematographic style should be appreciated more on an academic level, and I, for one, am fucking offended.
This round's on me. I don't think he likes me.
Fucking hell, the Hound is in a bad mood even when you're buying him a free ox horn of ale. I guess everyone's got their own pre-fight ritual though. This moment is the equivalent of, you know, a boxer in a dressing room, a UFC fighter hitting the mitts an hour before he's got to go and perform in the cage. This is that moment, and everyone would handle it differently. Bronn is the type that wants to get a bit drunk and have fun with women one last time, and the Hound is the type to just fucking brood on the battle ahead.
Killing's the thing you love. You're just like me, only smaller.
Now that is a good way to finish your point. That would have been an interesting fight if it hadn't have been interrupted. Bronn always has a trick up his sleeve. Obviously we saw him reach for his hidden blade, but is the Hound the type to really not anticipate something like that? I mean, he's not completely stupid. He's dealt with people who are good at fighting his whole life. Surely he knows some people would reach for a sneaky dagger in a close combat situation. Would Bronn have got that dagger stabbing is what I'm asking. I say no. I say the Hound grabs his fucking wrist.
Podrick, is that it?
Is that it? Nice touch.
You know, in Halloween, when people like cosplay dress up their babies? Just wondering if you know that. There's no reason I brought that up at this time whatsoever. I was just bringing that up. There's nothing wrong with bringing something up.
Captain of the ship, and if the ship goes down, I go with her.
Though I'm sure many captains say the same while their ship is afloat.
Very true. It's always easier to look on the bright side of life when it's daytime.
You don't believe in the old powers, my lord?
Blood spells, curses, shape-shifting, what do you think?
Varys is being unnecessarily cryptic and mystic here. He genuinely doesn't need to be. He could just be like, no, look, it's real. It happened to me. I've seen a sorcerer, so you're wrong. I have 100% seen a dude do sorcery. It is real.
I believe I've ever told you how I was cut.
No, I don't believe you have.
I'm joking. It's obviously a traumatic memory for Varys, so it's not quite as simple as him, you know, just telling the story nonchalantly. But he could have given the legit information that sorcery is for sure real, you know, because he knows that is real. It does look badass though, and an axe is an axe. If he's got high level plate Lannister armor on and an axe, he can kill some people. I had faith in him the first time I watched this shit.
I saw you kill a man with a shield. You'll be unstoppable with an axe.
Good point.
Are we friends now?
Of course we are. Just because I pay you for your services doesn't diminish our friendship.
Enhances it, really.
His delivery of that line was fucking incredible. Some of the actors throughout this season have really, really, really great line deliveries, from Braun to Arya. There's a bunch of characters that just knock it out of the park this season. And even a shit on Sam, but his character does add, all jokes aside, a unique comedy element which is welcome in such a cold world.
He sent for me to see him off.
Sandra!
Oh, fucking here he comes.
Your king rides forth to battle. You should see him off with a kiss.
What an asshole. Look at him all armoured up thinking he's tough. I'm surprised the weight of his shoulder pauldrons hasn't made him collapse in on himself.
You'll kiss it again when I return, and taste my uncle's blood.
Fucking shut up. I love the way this is written in reality, because it makes all of us, the audience, just like cringe knowing how much of a bitch he actually is. So it's done so well.
They say my brother Rob always goes where the fighting is thickest, and he's only a pretender.
Your brother's turn will come.
And it's already shown she's learning to play the game a bit. She was pandering to his ego there to hopefully position him in a more dangerous place in the battlefield where he might actually be killed, while still sort of keeping him on her side. Game of Thrones loves throwing a random white horse into the mix. Same shit happens in the second to last episode of the entire show when Arya randomly sees one in King's Landing. And Daenerys gets a white horse. This show's fucking racist.
Why tell the Hound to cut you in half? You'll do it without a second thought.
That would make me the quarterman. Just doesn't have the same ring to it.
It's got a pretty decent ring to it, actually. Rhymes with Nottingham, Rotterdam. Could do some shit with it if you were a rapper. Hey yo, it's the quarterman. But you'll think I'm like 6 feet tall if you see me lying down with my cock in hand. I don't know, he could do something with it.
I don't know why she wants me here. She's always saying how stupid I am. She hates me.
Part of me thinks it's spite. Perhaps there was a route for these women to just flee the city, but Sushi, being a spiteful bitch and knowing that she was staying, was like, no, Sansa can stay and get poisoned with me if we all have to die too. Or do you think somewhere in Sushi this genuinely was for Sansa's protection?
Fitting, isn't it? The men will bleed out there and you will bleed in here.
What a strange metaphor. A strange time to bring up the metaphor. An unnecessary metaphor. I don't even know if it's a metaphor or a simile, but whichever it is, you can take that and shove that straight back in your mouth that you said it out of, you weird poisonous bitch.
Here to defend us. When the Axis smash down those doors, you may be glad to have him.
Yeah, I love it when a bodyguard stares directly into my soul. Makes me feel real safe.
2 maids trying to sneak away with a stolen horse and some gold cups.
Battles first, traitors. Have Sir Ilan see to them.
I don't get that, right? I get soldiers fleeing is fucking treachery. Kill them. It makes your army look like a bunch of pussies, okay? But civilians trying to flee the battle point and you're killing them and putting their heads on spikes? The only message that sends is like, yo, you unarmed poor people can get slaughtered down in Flea Bottom. You ain't going anywhere. Granted, the people in that scenario that they were talking about in that scene though did also steal gold cups. So, you know, thieving little shits, really.
Archers to the marks.
Oh, here we go.
To your marks!
I don't know what the budget increase was between seasons 1 and 2, but I feel like the show finally got a chance to do what it deserved to do in season 1 as well. You know, that we missed out on some great battles in season 1 because of budget, and at least now we finally get to see one for real. It's nothing like what we get later on, but it's the best thing we've had so far. I don't know what I would think if I was Stannis' army seeing a singular ship coming towards me, but it would definitely worry me they had some sort of sneak attack coming. I certainly would tell my ships to halt or something.
Halt! Oh!
And I would definitely sink it before it got right next to me.
There's no one on board.
Even there, he's taking too long to react. As soon as you saw the rope tied to the wheel, you'd be like, stay the fuck away from this thing. Having a right good old look at it, isn't he? Come on, Davos. Throw some onions, do something. This is a huge blow. Stannis would have 100% won this battle if it wasn't for this singular move.
Mathis! Get down!
And as I was saying, my friend Theo knows Greg Staple, who was the guy that did the artwork for the Wildfire on Game of Thrones. And when you look at it, he's just basically just combined a few fireworks sort of projectile-y things with traditional fire and made it green. But I mean, what are you going to do? You get the job of having to draw fire and make it unique. You're like, okay, add a few things, there you go. I mean, it still has to be fiery, doesn't it? What an epic shot that is. I love the colour-coded combination of the two different fire types you get in certain shots in this scene as well. Things on Stannis' side, their flaming arrows etc. are on fire still, so it's orange fire, but then the wildfire's burning the ship, so it's a mixture of orange and green. It's cool how they've done that. And if you're Stannis, you'd be thinking, fucking really, Lord of Light? I literally burned the effigies of the Seven for you, and this is what you do to me with your fire? What an asshole.
Dwarf has played his little trick.
The wildfire?
He can only play it once.
I'm not even mad at Stannis for this decision because, you know, Tyrion can't make that play twice. The only question is it futile due to the numbers left? Should he have regrouped after that? But I feel like, again, his decision making isn't wrong because you'd be thinking, like, we've fucking sailed all this way. It really does feel like it's now or never. That's how you would feel if you were Stannis. So I can't even call any of his decision making incorrect here.
Sansa, come here, little dove.
Oh, Cersei just hates to see her at peace. She was just sitting drinking wine, watching her pray, thinking, look at you, perfect little shit.
Praying to the gods to have mercy on us all. The gods have no mercy, that's why they're gods.
I also agree with Cersei, you know, if the gods are real, they are brutal, because they are responsible for, you know, all the worst possible things which happen. They created the possibility for that to even happen, and then they blame it on human free will. And they created all the best possible things to happen. But when that happens, it's the god, not the human free will. Sorry, religious people, I'm sorry, religious people, caught myself doing it again, you know, if you practice peacefully and don't want to kill anyone else because of your beliefs, I fucking am completely for you believing some shit.
They are your guests under your protection. You asked them here.
It was expected of me.
This is actually the best scene we get as Cersei in the first two seasons because it's the mask fully lifted. She knows she might die tonight. She's just dropping some fucking evil knowledge on Sansa. It's not even lies, it's just evil knowledge.
I might have hoped for a private audience, but this is Stannis Baratheon. I'd have a better chance of seducing his horse.
Yeah, Stannis is a man of standards who is loyal to his wife and doesn't want your Lannister vajayjay.
The best one's between your legs. Learn how to use it. Drink.
Just no comment on that. It's not even untrue, but just please don't live by those standards, ladies, or you will make all us men lose hope forever.
Precious thing like you will look very, very good. A slice of cake.
1. Unnecessary to depart this knowledge on a child. 2. Why are you saying it with a fucking villainous grin? Telling her what will happen to her if they sack the city. That is just pure wickedness. You're now just like getting a child drunk and scaring the shit out of them.
Rain fire on them.
Archers! Too many!
Oh, you fucking little coward. I cannot look at this actor on screen without involuntarily just insulting the shit out of him. This is a problem I'm going to need to actually deal with throughout this show if you want any level of coherent commentary from me.
You too.
Yeah, you ant fucker, get into the fight. I love the look of determination on his face. You know what that look on his face reminds me of? Like a Scottish person when they're about to fight. Got a little bit of Scottish in him, has our Stannis. And that's like a mini Saving Private Ryan sequence. Any sort of beach landing in warfare has always got the highest casualties of the invading force, usually. If defences are set up correctly, they're just going to get absolutely destroyed with whatever the most long distance weapon is at the time.
Any man dies with a clean sword, I'll rape his fucking corpse!
It was a harrowing day when I watched the deleted scenes to this episode only to find out that the Hound made true of his word. Jesus Christ. Hound just made that guy do a limbo underneath his own intestine.
I don't think I know this one.
Thank God, because last episode we had that bait and switch where we thought she'd discovered Shay, but it was actually Roz.
That's the worst cutscene I've ever seen. Straighten your back and bend.
I actually think a curtsy looks better with a little bit of a bow to it, alright? So keep your straight back shit and go away. You would have made it nowhere under the intestine limbo with your straight back.
I had a Lorathi handmaiden once. But she was a nobleman's daughter. You're not.
Wow, Sushi just seems to be educated in all the right fields to, you know, call people out on shit and nothing more. You never hear her saying, like, you know, this is a dire fern and it grows in autumn and they produce these sort of berries. But if it's something she can use against someone, she's fucking David Attenborough.
When I told you about Sir Ilan earlier, I lied. Do you want to hear the truth?
Sir Ilan's eyes told the truth the whole time. Jesus, I forget the amount of special effects needed to fully display what the Hound does to people in this fight scene. He catches some absolute bodies in this scene. Oh, and we also get the beginning of showing that fire really fucks with him, even though he's a great warrior. I'd say it's the only thing the Hound is really afraid of, isn't it? He doesn't seem to be afraid of anything else, but he is genuinely terrified of fire. Understandably. Even this part, you know, so you've already been fucked up in the water, you've already taken arrow volleys as you've stormed the beach, now you're finally at the walls putting ladders up, and now you're getting oil and rocks thrown on your head. I know, like, the people in these castles back in these days would have been the more scared, but Jesus Christ, it was a tough job being a soldier, having to siege a castle, getting oil and rocks and shit thrown on you. I'd much rather be the person on the garrison in that situation.
Fuck the water. Bring me wine.
He ain't got no time for hydration right now, he's trying to get drunk.
Can I get you some iced milk and a nice bowl of raspberries too?
Eat shit, dwarf.
The bluntness of that insult is what made it so hilarious, not the insult itself.
Fuck the king's guard. Fuck the city. Fuck the king.
And this was the moment we all fell in love with the Hound fully. Staring Joffrey right in his little bitch face and saying fuck the king is absolutely glorious. I'm assuming all this is based on tactics used in history, but it's actually quite genius to land at the beach in your ship and then all the guys get out of the ship, turn it upside down and then use that as defense against the arrows as they move in. That was probably some shit Vikings invented thousands of years ago or something. The spikes seem like an unnecessary addition to the top of the battering ram, but it's an appreciated style choice.
Get down there and lead your people against the invaders who want to kill them.
What did my mother say exactly? Did she have urgent business with me?
Oh my god, he's so pathetic in this scene.
Stay with my uncle and represent the king on the field of battle.
What a little coward. What an absolute piece of shit. I have to just constantly remind myself, this actor's doing an incredible job because you think of the range needed for Joffrey. You've got that evil, conniving, snidey side to him, the smug ego side, but then underneath it all, when all that's stripped away, he's just a pathetic child. And this actor has done an amazing job capturing all those aspects of this character. So in his pathetic moments, he is truly fucking pathetic.
I'll lead the attack.
I'll lead the attack!
Physically, he is literally at the biggest disadvantage out of everyone there. Size matters in a fight, and he's still willing to step up and lead all these guys who are happy to hide into battle.
It will be your houses he burns. Your gold he steals. Your women he will rape.
Yeah, that's the best way to appeal to them. It's like, we live here. This isn't just an attack on the king's house. They're going to go to Flea Bottom next. They're going to tear down our childhood homes. They're going to take our wives, sisters, daughters. We have to fight. And again, just showing how important his mind is in this world, whether he's thinking of strategy and tactics pre-battle or knowing what is necessary to say to these guys to make them fight with some fucking ferocity still.
Battle is lost, Your Grace. Stannis' troops are at the gates.
Oh my god, Lancel, see this episode? You are like the worst news broadcaster of all time that just updates us with shitter and shitter news. Change the channel.
Listen to me.
That was the best fall ever. Really, the way he sold that shit, like he'd just taken a fucking gunshot to the chest while he was wearing full armor, and then fell back, like sort of stiff, as if he'd been tased. Seriously, watch that shit back right now. Stop this video and watch that clip back. It is the best fall, you can't dispute it. He fucking knocked it out of the park. He deserves to be able to fuck his auntie when he pratfalls at that higher level. It's the only time when incest is acceptable.
The Queen said they'd rape everyone.
No one is raping me.
Yeah, take that 100 psychopaths in full plate armor carrying broadswords.
The lady's starting to panic.
What are you doing here?
You can't even be mad at her for not seeing him. Why the fuck would anybody expect a Hound to be sat in her room at this moment?
What about the king?
He can die just fine on his own.
Yeah, he can. Imagine if the Hound never broke his oath and he literally laid his life on the line for Joffrey until he died. What a horrible waste of a life that would have been.
Do you want to go home?
I'll be safe here. Stannis won't hurt me.
Ah, this is so heartbreaking. The Hound would have got Sansa home.
Your father was a killer. Your brother is a killer. Your sons will be killers someday.
I loved that the first time this speech was done on Sesame Street, the words just hit harder coming from Big Bird. What a legend Tyrion is. It actually breaks my heart that for the rest of the entire show, he does not get the credit he deserves for that little victory there. That would have been terrifying, seeing those reinforcements running out of the darkness like that. And Stannis took the hard way. Stannis could have just chilled underneath that upturned ship on the beach until the troops were depleted, but he actually went up the ladder through the oil and rocks and got up onto the garrison. Fucking traitor. And I think that's the moment everyone absolutely loved Podrick as well. Not to say he wasn't always just a great character, but saving Tyrion's life like that, and it's just shocking that in amongst a battlefield when they're trying to win a war, the Kingsguard is still trying to follow through an order to kill the commanding officer of the side he's on. It's so counterproductive.
There lived a mother and her cub. She loved him very much. But there were other things that lived in the woods, evil things.
I'd be like, fuck's sake, Mum, if you're about to poison me, at least tell me something with some dragons in it, you boring bitch.
All the birds in the sky and the beasts in the sea. They will all come to you, little lion.
Yeah, spoiler alert, none of that Disney shit happens. I always wonder how it would have worked as well if they'd used the injuries Tyrion got here, the book version of them, on the television, because in the book he got absolutely destroyed by that axe attack and his face is never the same. He almost looks like a human zombie. It's kind of heartbreaking to see the Tyrells siding with the Lannisters instead of Stannis Baratheon, but understandable considering he used blood magic to kill their king.
The battle is over. We have won!
Fair play to Tywin. I can't even hate him for saying that shit so confidently. You know, it was a tough battle and they pulled one out of the bag. Okay, and that was episode 9 of season 2 of Game of Thrones Blackwater, and I will be back in just a minute with my thoughts on that. So, Blackwater, what did I think of that? First of all, I just want to talk about a couple of specific characters, because I feel like there was a lot of cool things that they did with specific characters in this episode. It really was a bit of a character study during the battle when you look at it. We got to see the most cowardly side of Joffrey, which at this point in the show is almost as satisfying to us the viewer as, you know, him dying, because it's like, yeah, this is who you really are. We get to see it. We knew that was you and you were showing yourself to be that, so it's still satisfying to see him have to let the mask slip and show his true cowardice. Adversely, this is the episode, if not the one where he saved Sansa, that the Hound won our hearts by staring Joffrey straight in the face and saying fuck the king. Not even mad at him for being scared of fire, can't even hate on him for turning his back on his oath and saying no, I'm not fighting this war, because when your king is that much of a prick, why Why are you wasting your life for him? You can't just blindly follow anyone. This is how Nazi parties happen. And another cool character moment we got was Podrick saving Tyrion after the Kingsguard had been ordered to kill him by Cersei on the battlefield during a fight, which I said at the time is such a stupid move when he was literally the one rallying the soldiers at that point. Joffrey had ran away, the Hound was nowhere to be seen even, but Tyrion was still standing trying to get everybody hyped to fight, and he's the one you want to kill. And it was an absolute hero episode for Tyrion. Showed himself to be the bravest guy, showed himself that even when things were starting to go bad, he had to still stay there. He had to figure out a way to talk these guys up to fight for him, and he did it all. He did it all bravely and literally without a second thought. And the battle would have been an absolutely one-sided massacre if it wasn't for his forethought with the wildfire. Now, I do have to give Cersei partial credit for that, because that was Cersei's idea. It was just Tyrion's idea to use it, I guess, a bit further away from the landing point. But yeah, Stannis would have for sure won if it wasn't for the wildfire attack. And you have to give Stannis credit in this fight as well. Even after a lot of his forces were destroyed, he was like, it's now or never. He charged the beach. He went up the ladders past the oil and stones, which was surely the hardest point of entry, and fought to the bitter end, and he wasn't even killed during the battle. So he did a lot of damage, and I feel like he should go home proudly and regroup rather than take it as the crushing defeat he takes it as. And like I said, we got some of the best scenes of Cersei we've had in the first 2 seasons in this episode, because she was fully disarmed and just telling it like it is. Now, we might not agree with her viewpoints, but none of us can argue that some of them, while hard to hear, were probably true. And I also found it interesting how Sansa handled this. It's like she's been through so much trauma, she's already brave to it. Not saying that she wasn't still scared, but she found a way to try and balance her chi and be calm throughout it. She handled it better than Cersei was handling it, really. And the twist of the Tyrell army aiding and helping turn the tide in the end was very bittersweet to me. I don't mind that Tywin showed up and helped, but yeah, the Tyrells bring with them resources and gold, and oh, it's just a horrible 2 houses to see have a union, the Lannisters and Tyrells, because I like the Tyrells, but the Lannisters with the Tyrells' resources and their resources are a terrifying family. And all in all, a brilliant episode, and I had no idea that we just stuck with this through the entire thing. Like, we never got any Daenerys, we never got any Jon Snow, we didn't need it. This episode deserved to have an entire episode dedicated to it, and I'm pleased that they did that, and I guess we get the roundup of the Jon and Daenerys plots next episode. If you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, ring the bell to be notified as to when they drop. If there's anything you want to talk about, comment down below, and share this around to anyone you think might appreciate it or want to watch these reactions along with us. My Patreon link is down in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to my blog, you get access to these videos I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get access to full-length versions of everything I react to. So consider becoming a patron, it helps me and my channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA, peace.